if you have an addiction to nasal ingestion of you know what, and you've been going to CA and you haven't stopped, you've been failed. That's right. Somebody has actually said it. I know, controversial, but let me explain. You've been failed. In 1939, when the 12 steps were written by an alcoholic for alcoholics, the whole purpose of the 12 steps is to titrate that substance, to lower that substance, to surrender yourself to deal with that substance. And then in 1982, some bright spark with no medical training, no psychological training, decided to recover the AA book with the word CA book and make it for nasal ingestion of you know what. They hardly changed anything in the book at all. A few words, less than 20 words. It's the same book for a different substance. Yet nasal ingestion of you know what is a psychological hijacker. When you do a line, you get a huge influx of dopamine. That gives you a state of euphoria. But while that's happening, it's beginning to hijack your prefrontal cortex. The amount of dopamine you get from doing this line is more than your synaptic cleft can cope with. And what happens is your brain says, oh my gosh, there's too much dopamine. Let's reduce the amount of dopamine you are naturally producing. It will down-regulate your receptors. So now you're producing far less dopamine, the neurotransmitter chemical to tell yourself that you felt good. Fast forward this over and over and over by using more and more often, and now the amount of dopamine that you're naturally producing is minimal. And then when you need dopamine in your life to make you feel good, it doesn't exist and life seems boring. And then you're going to go and try and titrate the same methodology for the 12 steps for AA for alcohol as you're going to do for nasal ingestion of you know what. It's a completely different substance. You cannot apply the same principles. And when you go, it worked for millions of people, as I've had people saying to me in debates, on my podcast, in discussions, no, it has not worked for millions of people. That is not peer-reviewed research. That is not factual statistics. That's Joe Bloggs around the corner telling you that his mate Phil stopped. And all you have to do is look around the room, because Harry Icebath, who honoured me on my podcast and we had a long chat and discussion, who was really indoctrinated with the 12 steps, was like, I've been going to the 12 steps for 11 years. And it was only the day after when we spoke on the phone that it suddenly dawned on him that he's a year clean.